Hello guys, and welcome to episode 18 of the Old Guy Farmer's single player challenge. Let's go ahead and jump on in to the map. And I was looking for the Amazon Pro Hopper the other day, and I have found it. So I went ahead and picked that up, and I wanted to, I think this is it. I wanted to pick the GTX mixing station, because I wanted to look at that real quick. I'm thinking maybe cows may be in our future. Not sure, but I'm thinking about that. If we do cows, it's going to be somewhere in the early summer, late spring time frame. So we're going to go ahead and get on into the game. Alright, so it is raining today, and as I said, we were going to, first thing we did when we got in here is we were going to run a mission on field 24. It should be a plowing mission. It is indeed. So we are going to plow this field up, and then we're going to buy it. So by doing this mission first thing in the morning, or basically by running this mission instead of plowing it ourselves, we have a couple advantages. One, we're getting paid to do a job that we would have to do ourselves anyway. Two, we are running at 1x speed, which means that we don't have to worry about a huge amount of time lapsing. So that when we do get this field, one, it will be plowed. Two, we're getting money for doing the same job that we would need to do ourselves. And three, we're doing it at real time versus 15x speed. So if this takes us, let's say this takes us 12 minutes to plow in real time, in 15x speed time it would have probably been about 4 hours. Probably not 4 hours, probably like 2.5 hours. Hey Mike, how you doing? So we're basically making time here by doing it. Oh, get back in. So while we're plowing, I wanted to talk about, I had saw in the FSUK forums today a posting related to the new update to the Seasons mod. So I figured that we would, I would just read the update release notes and talk a little bit about that while we are busy plowing this field up. So let me get this guy turned around. We'll get him going. Let me tab over and pull up the release notes. So we've got here, and this is over at the FSUK forums. You can look this up if you want to. It says it's 100% compatible with current save games. Now, of course, Seasons 1.1 is not out yet, but they're basically saying that they're very soon to release it. And when they do release it, these are the kinds of changes that you can expect to see. We have, it says, improved growth for winter crops. What that means, it says limited to stage 2 in autumn, mostly for visual purposes. So it sounds like what was going on now, and I haven't seen this yet myself, but it sounds like if you plant, let's say, winter wheat early enough into autumn, it's possible that the plant will grow possibly to a fairly full height stage before winter, and then it will look visually weird as winter comes, and it's a lot taller than probably it should be in real life. Like I said, I haven't personally played with seasons enough to have experienced that. This map is actually the furthest I've ever been into a season's year. It's got animal upkeep bug fix, so I'm not really sure what the animal upkeep bug was, but it's been fixed. Weather no longer resets and recalculates when changing any settings apart from season length. So apparently before, if you would go in and change maybe to have snow tracks or change other things, I guess possibly the weather would reset and you would have completely different weather when you came back out of the season settings. That could be an interesting cheat if you didn't like the weather you had. Go into season settings and keep changing settings until you get weather that you prefer. They adjusted the German translation in the manual related to the germination temperatures. Here's a pretty big change. Pigs now give birth both in autumn and spring. Used to just be in the spring. So pigs are either twice as productive, or quite possibly, and they don't really say this, pigs may reproduce half as much as they did in one season, or one stage of the year, because now they reproduce twice a year. So we don't really know if they have adjusted the reproduction rates to compensate for reproducing twice a year, or if they reproduce the same amount and you basically get double the productivity. Fixed hail, never showing in multiplayer. Fixed maintenance for low horsepower and high maintenance machinery. So I guess the maintenance was abnormally high maybe for low horsepower stuff, and possibly abnormally low for high maintenance things. They fixed hay bale rotting. Fixed placeables not making a snow mask. So with version 1.1, if you put a placeable building down, you will automatically get a snow mask under that placeable. Fixed price adjustments for train silo storage. So apparently maybe it was excessively expensive or excessively cheap to store in the train silo. I'm not really sure. Fixed removal of grass around the edges of a field with the plow or a cultivator. Okay. I don't know if we can see if that's going on here. Looks like the grass is staying, so I guess maybe it's supposed to go away. Alright, let's flip back around. And let's see what else we got here. General code improvements, so that pretty much is generic language for pretty much every revision of anything. Added debug console commands for vehicle repair and fruit growth. Reduced time for free demo of vehicles to 30 minutes. So that's one that we saw here on one of our episodes, where we purchased a manure spreader and basically had an hour to use it. A real-life hour, not a game hour. And it only took us, I guess, about a half hour to use that. and as a result we were able to sell it back for full price. So it looks like in the new version that will be reduced in time to 30 minutes. Snow is properly removed under vehicles, bales, and pallets. So I guess I don't know what that means, unless that means that when it snows you don't have snow underneath a tractor if it's parked outside. I don't know why you would have snow under a bale, unless it's related to, I guess, like a map that doesn't have the snow mask, where you would maybe have a bale, the snow accumulating everywhere. Texture replacement for shapes with multiple materials now works. So I'm not really sure what that means, but it's there. Adjusted distance limits for tree plant growth. So in seasons, if you plant trees, depending on how close you plant them, will basically govern how far they grow. So if you plant them too quick or too close together, the maximum growth stage will be limited. If the further apart you plant them, then the tree will be able to grow further into another growth stage. So they seem to have adjusted that somewhat. Longer seasons. So right now the longest season you can have is 12 days. But with this you can now have up to 24-day season lengths. I'm just going to scroll down and get some more. They adjusted the bale rotting. They don't really give any more detail as to what that means. Grass now rots in tippers. So right now with version 1.0 of seasons, if you have a tipper full of grass, it won't rot. It will basically stay in the tipper forever. But with version 1.1, that little exploit, if you will, is corrected. Straw and hay now rot in tippers just like bales. So again, anything in a tipper, straw, hay, or grass, previously wouldn't rot, but now it will. Improved visual seasons algorithm depending on weather and latitude. They fixed disabling of snow tracks. They added a new system for scriptless geomods. So right now you can create a mod, and there's one already on the mod hub, to kind of customize your latitude and longitude, I think, for the sun angle, and also for the temperature and weather frequency. So you could, let's say, if you're in, let's say, the US, you could adjust the temperature so that summer was hotter than it is in the standard seasons game. If you're in someplace that's colder, you could obviously adjust that also. And adjusted for better textures. So overall, the textures that are controlled by seasons are going to be enhanced in version 1.1. And that's basically the changelog. Again, you can find that up under the FSUK forums, under the Realism forum. So let me just cycle back to chat. Hey Ed, how you doing? I can see chat in here. So I know I've missed spots, and we'll just have to come up here with the plow and fix it, probably. Where did the... Oh, there it is. Let's check the need plow status. Oh, look at that. It fixed it for us. Alright, so let's go ahead and Let's wait. Let's wait and see what we get done today. Alright, so we have some stuff to do today. We're going to go ahead and start fertilizing. It's probably not overly realistic to be fertilizing in the rain, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're going to find the edge of our field. There it is. We're going to hire a worker to do the fertilizing while we come over here and tend to our sheep. Messy little boogers. Alright, let's check and see how our sheep are doing. I think we need to feed and water them. Yep, they definitely need food and water, so let's go ahead and take care of that. So I think Ed had suggested that we leave the bucket over here. Oh, you're wasting my fertilizer. Wasted my fertilizer. So I think we're going to have to get used to working in the dark. It's 7 o'clock in the morning and it is still dark as all get out. And as it comes into winter, it's just going to get even darker. Where did I put the forks? So I hope that it dries off because we need to mow that other field. I've done some calculations off camera, and at one point in time I said I thought we would probably buy bales if we had sheep, and I've done some calculations to basically see how much they're going to need to eat, and we need to ted that grass up and make our own hay because they're going to eat too much grass or too much hay over winter and spring to want to buy bales. So let me see here. We can give them another bale. Might as well. Hey Sean, how you doing? Hey Jedco. So, according to the Seasons XML file, over winter, each sheep needs 37 liters of hay per day. And we have 96 sheep. So that comes out to 20,736 liters for all 6 days of winter for 96 sheep. Okay, and now the sheep over spring need 27 liters of grass per sheep per day. So that comes out to 15,552 liters of sheep liters of hay for the entire spring. Now, what's complicating matters is, of course, that sheep reproduce in the spring, gotta find our water trailer. Where did I stash our water trailer at? For some reason I thought it was up here. But I'm not seeing it. Look over here by the water and maybe I stashed it over there. So what that means is, what I was saying was sheep reproduce. Well, I don't see it over here either. Anybody remember where I stuck the water trailer? Behind the chickens. Oh, there it is. Ed, you have got it going for me. I don't remember where I stuck anything, but you got it. So what I was saying is what complicates matters with respect to spring is that's when sheep reproduce. So by the end of spring, they're going to be eating a lot more than they will at the start of spring per day. But also, at the end of spring, we'll have grass that we can supplement their hay diet with. So over all of winter and all of spring, we need 36,288 liters of hay. Well, we know that hay is 4,000 liters a bale. So that means we need 9 bales of hay to feed them for all of winter and some portion of spring. Okay? So while we're waiting, let's just look at the store. I have the buy bales mod installed. So the cheapest hay bales are square bales, and they're $8,300 for 8 bales. So they're over $1,000 a bale. That is insane. That is actually basically the price of silage bales on hard mode. So we cannot afford, or we should not be affording. Where is he at? Where are you at? Again, he's way up there. It must be because it's all grass that he gets confused. And everything's at 2 stages of fertilizer now. Well, I'll deal with it. I was going to send him up there to fertilize, but he's pretty much done it, so okay. Let's go see if we can fertilize this other field. I doubt we can. So basically, we can't really afford to buy... Well, we can't afford. We don't want to be buying hay bales because they're so darn expensive. Am I in the field? I'm in the field. Just hit a little spot here. And see if we get any color change. Nope. Okay. So we still can't fertilize that. Where are we going here? Alright. Let's go down here and fill up with fertilizer. And then we'll go down and we'll buy that field and go ahead and fertilize it up since it's raining. So what I plan on doing is, if it dries off today, if we get the wet crop going away, we're going to lease a tedder. We're going to mow up the grass there behind us, and we're going to ted it up and bale it into hay and store those bales for our sheep. And we need 9, so we'll see how many bales we get out of there. We'll probably just ted up half the field, bale it up, and see if that's enough before we convert it all over. Well, I appreciate your habit of remembering where things are, Ed. It was dark, I couldn't see anything, and I couldn't remember where I had left it. Hey, iMine, how are you doing today? So that's the plan for the day, is to we're going to go tend to our greenhouses while we still have wet crop. Thankfully the rain is over. Let's hope the sun comes out and heats things up and dries off the grass, because we know we can't ted grass into hay until the wet crop is gone. I'm going to go ahead and tab into these trains and make sure they slow down. Alright. No train coming, so we can come on across. Grass cannot be stored in the silos. These silos only take crops, if that's what you're asking. Is this not taking fertilizer? I don't think this is taking fertilizer. Nope, this is not taking fertilizer for some odd reason. So we know how to fix that. We're just going to jump up here and pick up our tractor, and we'll cultivate. We'll cultivate the field, and that should let us then fertilize it. I don't know why it's not letting us fertilize it, because we fertilized it in one mission, and then we plowed the field in another mission, so that should have changed the state. You can really see from this angle the movement of the shadows, time progressing so fast. The shadows of the trees just keep jumping across. So I'm glad I looked at the price of the hay bales before tomorrow. I don't know if you all have been watching the other contestants, but I was watching Old Guy Farmer this morning, and he was basically in day 18 like we are right now. And what did we determine? The hired helpers won't do this? Oh, they do. That's good. Now let's jump in here and let's just spit this real fast. Yep. I saw the texture change. It got dark there, so now we can definitely fertilize that. So let's run over here and take care of our greenhouses while we are waiting. So Old Guy Farmer was in game day 18 like we are right now, and when I caught the stream it was really late at night. He had multiple harvesters harvesting his fields because he was pinched for time. He had to get his fields harvested before midnight, because once midnight hit, the crops would wither and all would be lost. So he was successful at getting his crops harvested right in the nick of time. In fact, it was like I think 23.50 something when he finished, and he left a little strip unharvested just to verify that everything would wither at midnight. And it was quite funny because midnight came and this little strip of soybeans was still there, and it wasn't withered. So he was like, "Oh, it didn't wither. So let me go and take care of this this last little bit of soybeans." So he had a little bit of issue because he's using drive control, and for some reason he had put the combine in reverse. So he backed up a little bit and fixed that. And about the time he started to roll forward, it all withered, and it was just so hilarious that right before his combine hit the soybeans, it was all done for. So in watching that, we know that come midnight, all this grass will instantly disappear. If we had crops, any crops that we hadn't harvested would instantly disappear. So that's why I'm hoping that we get rid of the wet crop symbol up there, so that we can mow the grass and ted the grass into hay and get that hay baled up for the sheep. And starting tomorrow, we will be... I must have already did that one. Starting tomorrow, we will be focusing on forestry for the next probably 10 game days. So all through winter, we're going to be forestry, cutting logs, selling logs, and for the first few days of winter, we're going to be doing our first few days of spring. We're going to be doing that. Depending on ground temp, we may hire a worker to fertilize a field or to plow a field should we buy another field. Sometimes my trackball doesn't seem to want to move the bucket. Sometimes it seems like I can move the telehandler bucket real smooth with the trackball, and other times it's like it's all jerky and barely wants to move. Looks like this evening is one of those days where it's a bit jerky. So now it seems to have gotten freed up. As I complain about it, it behaves a bit better. Do you all play with a joystick or a mouse as far as controlling your telehandler and your other types of implements like this, your front loaders? There's 6 days till maintenance is required. I just wanted to check on that. Let's see how this guy's doing. Not too bad. Alright, now let's go get him water. So also an interesting not antidote, but well, just an interesting bit of information. Late autumn, or more correctly, early winter is the worst time to buy cows. Old guy Farmer was going to buy up some cows once it went into early winter, because he thought that would be a good time to buy cows. But it turns out that cows are the most expensive. They are now $6,000, or at least will be $6,000 a head come tomorrow. And it looks like the cheapest time to buy cows is actually early summer. So that's something just as an interesting little note to know. Which is why, if we do get into cows, I'm still not sold that cows are a thing we want to be into. But should we get into cows, we're not going to buy them until early summer. And the reason I'm not sure on it is because, one, there are a lot of upkeep. We would need some source of straw. That means we would either have to plant wheat or barley and harvest wheat or barley, or constantly buy straw in. But speaking of that, I picked the mixing wagon because I wanted to see something. So the mixing wagon is $10 a day and $110,000. This mixing station, this mixing wagon is $90 a day. Holy cow, $41,000. Okay. And now, if we bought cows, we would buy a bunch of them. And it would make more sense to have the big mixing wagon than the little one. And I'm pretty sure the big mixing wagon is close to price to that mixing station. And it's probably going to be a lot more expensive than that mixing station. But we'd still have to figure some way of getting straw in order to maximize their productivity. So they're a decent source of income from the milk, but they also eat a ton of food, and I worry that they would distract from our silage production too much. But it's a thought. We've got pretty much all of winter and spring to think about it. Still have our wet crop up here. Let's look at the forecast. So we now have rain for the first day of winter. We have clear skies for the next 3 days. Rain predicted for day 5 and snow predicted for day 6. Not too bad. I wouldn't mind seeing snow earlier in the winter so that we don't possibly have snow on the ground come springtime, but you know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. So since we are waiting on our wet crop, let's get this bag of fertilizer out of the way. So did you all see that the AR pack has been updated and is now available in the in-game mod hub? There's a new module or trailer for that is actually a forage mixing Can I pick this up, or is it too heavy? Oh, look at that. I was worried it would be too heavy for the tractor. So we're going to put this in the building. That way it's completely out of the way. There's no way our trailer is actually going to accidentally pick it up. Looks like we could use a little bit of a rear weight. And we're going to sell. Make sure I don't sell the wrong one. Okay, we're going to sell the pallet fork. We won't need it. And we're going to sell the bell fork. We won't need it. There. We got rid of those useless pieces of equipment because they were for a telehandler. Let's go ahead and put our forks back and clean up our sheep area a little bit. Although right now we don't really care about productivity, do we? We should only be worrying about productivity in the spring and the summer. So let's and park this. Still got wet crop, so let's go ahead and stage our Ponzi somewhere for tomorrow. Thought about taking out these trees up here and working our way around a bit. Might as well do some forestry while we wait on our grass to dry. Because I'm worried if we cut the grass, since it's a wet crop, we will also have issues with grass rot because it's technically wet. So how's everybody's day been? Middle of July. Hope the weather hasn't been too terrible hot for you all wherever you live. It was in the mid-90s for us today. Humid and hot, those are synonyms for July. At least in Virginia where we are, where I am. spot for a tree. Oh no! Cut it and the swing was bad. It swung right into the cab. Do you get a lot of rain where you are, Sean? Look at this. What's this thing cost to lease? $12,000 an hour, $2,500 a day. Okay. So we bought this early on, and I kind of thought we would be doing maybe some more logging than we actually ended up doing once the grass came in. So I'm thinking what we'll do once grass comes in next spring is sell this scorpion. Oh, that was good. And we basically will not do any forestry until next winter. And at that time we'll probably buy it again and basically own it until mid or late spring year 3 and sell it again, so that we don't need to pay the really high maintenance fees per day, because I thought we would end up using it a bit more during the summer than we ended up doing it. Yeah, rubber burner, we decided we'd cut some logs. We're waiting for the grass to dry. You can see we've got wet crop up here. It's the last day of autumn. Whatever grass we don't get cut today, we will not get cut. We've got a hired worker working down on the new field we just bought. We got another Canadian in the house. Ed's Canadian. Rubber burners from the good old Canada. Our buddies from up north. I'd gladly take summer temperatures in the 60s. Instead, we get pretty consistent summer temperatures in the 90s. Has anybody ever tried selling logs at the crane sell point? So how did your Woodshire stream go, Rubber Burner? Did you run into too many other things after I left? Or do you only do that for me? Alright, so our cultivator's done, so we can now put a second layer of fertilizer down. It's almost 4 o'clock, we still have wet crop. That's not very favorable. He'll be done fertilizing very soon. In fact, he might get done by the time we get this up to the farm and get our sower down here. No need to wait for the gates to move. We'll just drive around them. Really don't want to have to buy those bales, that's for sure. I don't know if you saw, Rubber Burner, but we got ourselves some sheeps. He is done fertilizing before we can even get back down there. We could store them in the building, but that area where the current hay bales are stored is under snow mask, so we could store them there. Because if that area wasn't snow masked, then those bales would have rotted away after the first rain that we had. So there are places that we can store those bales. What a wonderful looking sunset we got going on. can't. Alright. And we'll plant grass by hand if we can't do it manually. Or we can't do it automatic. So this thing is 6 meters. Oh, look at that sunset. I don't have game extensions, so I can't hide the HUD. It's almost 5 o'clock and we still don't have a dry crop. I wonder if I should risk mowing it and raking it before midnight and seeing if I get a dry crop. It's supposed to rain tomorrow though. I don't know if I can do that. Basically I was wondering if I could mow the grass, rake it up, and get it into a windrow before midnight. And then wait for the wet crop symbol to go away, and then ted it back out of the windrow, re-windrow it, and then bale it, if that would be a way to save some of that grass that's going to go away. Or possibly, since it's winter, maybe all the grass will just disappear, even the grass that's in a windrow. We might have to try that little experiment, because if it can save me $8,000, then that's what I want to do. Sun is setting awful quick come autumn. Still wet crop. Coming up at 6 o'clock. Oh, I can see the stars out. How you doing, Bob? Or Cheesy Dog? Cheesy Dog? Are you still on target for a Friday release? Really cool if they would if they can model in a sun, or not a moon, and if they could model in like the various moon stages. So like with a 6-day season, you would have you know, one day during the season it would be really dark, pitch black, because it would be a new moon, and then one day during the season it would be really bright because it would be a full moon, and then the other 4 days of a 6-day season it would be kind of like this, where it's medium light, although this is kind of full moon lightness. Of course it's only 6 o'clock. A leveler to move the snow around. I wasn't really sure if we would need to plow the snow with respect to the sheep. I'm not really concerned about snow on the ground around the farm. In fact, I didn't figure we'd spend too much time around the farm, other than to do some daily sheep cleanup. I figured we'd spend most of the time in the Scorpion King, cutting down trees or transporting logs. Of course, I guess we could put the leveler on the back of one of these Fords, because these Fords don't have a front 3-point hitch. We'll have to see about that. Right now it's fairly mild winter, it looks like. You know, I'm thinking we might only really have I'm thinking after day 3 of winter we will have frozen ground, and we won't really be able to do anything until springtime, just based on the temperatures there. But we really only have, we've got 2 days of, 1 day of snow forecast and 2 days of rain. It might be a fairly dry winter. But all that is subject to change, of course. Hi, Robert. How you doing? we are going to have wet crop all day long. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about, and I want to look, once I get this guy off, doing fertilize number 3. What? Let's see what a leveler costs. Where are they at? Are they under miscellaneous? No, they're under levelers. Silly. $10 a day. How about we just buy one on the off chance that we need it when we need it? I'd hate to pay $60 over the course of the winter and never need it. So, are you talking about the gates on the old guy farmer edit here? Or are you talking about just general GE stuff? Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure Bob can help you out. So we're gonna try something. Worst thing that could happen is our grass is going to completely disappear anyway. But it does not look like we're going to get any dry condition. So I'm going to go ahead and mow this grass before it disappears come midnight. We're going to rake the grass into a windrow. And we're going to see if the grass completely disappears come midnight. If it does dry, oh good. That hired helper's done, so I'm going to hire this one. That was excellent timing, hired helper. So as I was saying, we're going to windrow that field before midnight. Midnight will come around and we'll see if we lose just one layer of grass, like we've seen happen before, or if we lose all of the grass. If we lose all the grass, well, we were going to lose it anyway. If we only lose one layer, then we'll still have a windrow. If we ever get the wet crop symbol to go away, we'll lease a tedder, ted it up, windrow it back up, and bale up the hay before it all disappears. Hopefully. And hopefully we can do that before it rains again tomorrow. Because I'd like to save the grass if we can. Wrong one. You know, if there's any way we can save the grass so we don't have to buy those bales, that would be awesome. Sometimes those lights really glare off the windows. Hi Eli, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. I just wish our grass would dry out so that we can make some hay before we get into winter. There we go. Oh. Oh. The wet crop symbol went away. Where is it? 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 How much are you? You're big. You're too much money. Wet crop went away. We can ted it up. We gotta ted it. We gotta windrow it before midnight. Otherwise, we're gonna lose it. You can stay till he misbehaves. Everybody can stay until they misbehave. I see the dust being kicked up behind the mower. I'm wondering if during a wet crop state, if there's no dust, that would be pretty cool. Alright, let's make some hay. 2 hours. How much of this can we get tedded up and raked in 2 hours? I feel like old guy Farmer this morning when I was watching his stream and he was trying to get all these fields harvested before midnight. We're going to ted up this row. Then we're going to drop the tedder. We're going to rake up this row, and then we're going to get back to tedding, just in case, because we don't want to leave stuff on the ground. So this is the process we're going to do until we get this field done. We're going to ted a little bit, then we're going to rake it, ted a little bit more, and then if we do run into a scenario where we hit midnight and we lose some stuff, we'll hopefully have some stuff windrowed. We can have one more hired worker. Oh, we would be in. We would have plenty of time. So I could hire somebody to ted, and then I could just rake this and then grab the baler and bale it. I'm glad you got your problem figured out there, Robert. Welcome back, Eli. Oh, it's already 11:10. We're not going to get the field done, that's for sure, but we're going to try our darndest to get 9 bales. Well, we have 4. So we only need 5. To get our sheep through winter and spring. I wasn't planning on working through the night. I was hoping we could fast forward and then maybe do another quick stream of winter, but it's not going to looks like that's not going to how it's going to work. Can't talk tonight. You stop. You go this way. See how much of this we can save in the next 12 minutes. Oh my gosh. 11 minutes. Oh my goodness. 8. Jiminy Christmas. I did not just do this earlier. Oh, we're gonna lose a whole lot of grass. Watch it disappear. There it went. Even my windrow disappeared. Totally not cool. Totally not cool. Mark, that was totally not cool. How you doing, Mariah? Yeah, I don't know how much you saw, Mark, but we had rain this morning. We had wet crop all the way up until about 10 p.m. And it was the last day of autumn, obviously. So I wanted to make a couple hay bales so we could feed our sheep over the winter. So I kept waiting for the grass to dry so that we could ted it, mow it and ted it, and it never happened. It never happened. So eventually I decided we just go ahead and cut it and windrow it. Go back. So we tedded it. We did get a dry crop around 10 p.m. So we leased a tedder real quick and we tedded up some grass. We did a windrow, thinking that if midnight came we would lose maybe a little bit of the windrow, but not all of it. But apparently winter is a cruel, cruel beast that is a grass thief that will steal any and all cut grass and hay that's laying on the ground. Cruel, cruel beast. So, it is winter time, and all our grass is harvested, and we won't have any grass for several days. So, how much are you costing me? $20 a day. $20 a day, so that's $40. That's a whole lot of money a day. $96 a day. A cruel beast. I wasn't calling you a cruel beast. I was calling winter a cruel beast. So we're going to look at, would you stop folding up? So I have half of a mind, actually it's more like 3/4 of a mind, to sell our mowers and sell our rake and sell our baler, because we won't be using them for probably at least 12 game days. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about selling the 2 mowers, the big old rake here, and the baler? Sell them back, and we'll just buy them again come springtime. Let's take a look. So we can get $9,500 and $9,700. What do they cost me to begin with? $1,600. So we'll lose $9,000. We'll lose $16,000 if we sell them back. But I'm just thinking about all the daily maintenance. If we add them all up, let's see what our daily maintenance is. So it's 20 and 20. This is 168. This is 96. So it's $300 a day, basically, times 12 days. So it's $3,600 of daily maintenance that we could save, and just buy it all back. Alright, so that's the consensus, is we're going to sell it. Winter has come. We don't need it anymore. It's just taking up space. I'm going to keep that for now because I just might buy me another field and put grass in it. Although I can't, we can't plant grass anymore until spring. How much does this cost me? $43 a day, but I got seed in it. I got seed in it. Can't get rid of the flatbed trailer because we're going to sell bales. I guess in theory I could get rid of one of the tractors. Keep one around just for random things. Oh, I don't know about Field 5. That's a lot of money. That's $1 million. I'd buy this field here before I bought Field 5 because it's too far away from the from the farm. Ed wants me to buy this one right here, 22. Where's our truck at? So on the mowers, where are we at? We could definitely mow all the Field 5 with that. That would only take a year. I mean, the wing mowers we can't do with those tractors. We would need a different tractor. The only other big mower that I know of would be the Big M. And really, to some degree, the most time-consuming part is the darn baling. The baling and the wrapping, and I don't know how you're going to speed that up. Yeah, all of our crops did come up over on Serenity Valley. I was thinking that the temperatures in the forecast were air and ground temperatures, but Reefy 1952 said that his understanding was it was a low and high temperature forecast, and it wasn't a ground temperature forecast. So with that information, it basically was good. Soybeans came up, corn came up, all our crops came up. So you're suggesting that we go with this, or this one. Oh my gosh, $270 a day. $290 a day. That's the fast track we got rid of because it was $250 a day. Oh, I didn't have any midnight losses with that big old rake we had. Except for this. And I think the only reason we lost this tonight was because the stupid winter killed all my grass. Because I had a whole windrow of hay, and it disappeared at midnight. Unless you know something more than I do, I'm only expecting to get about $1,100 a bale. Because on hard mode, bales are only worth $980. And in late winter, the price index is only 1.11, so we're only getting 11% above normal, which should be right around $1,100. And we have 313 bales. So we probably have, what, $350,000 in silage? Now, year one, we were slow to get ramped up. I expect to have a lot more bales in year two, because we'll have more fields. 4 of the fields that we have will have grass fully grown from the outset. Well, I doubt Jerry did anything to jack the price of bales. And I know the normal bale price for silage on hard is $9.80. It's a far cry from the normal price of like 14 something. And the easy price of whatever ridiculously high level it was. I was going to take these over to the crane area because I didn't know if maybe the crane area would give me more money. We pretty much established that the water pond is not really any more money than the regular log area. The only thing we do risk by parking up here by the tracks is to be taken out by the train. So let's see what our 27, there's no premium. There's definitely no premium at any of these sell points, so it doesn't matter where we sell the logs, they're going to sell for the same amount. That's what happens when you read chat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if you look in the season zip, there's a data folder. If you look in the data folder, there's an economy.xml file. In that file is basically the price fluctuation index for all the crops, including silage bales. And the way the XML is set out is there are 12 transitions. Each season is 3 transitions. So transition 1 is early spring. Transition 4 is early summer. Transition 8 is early autumn. No, it's transition 7 is early autumn. Transition 10 is early winter, which is right now. And if you look at the price index for silage bales, they have a price index of 1.11 for transition 11 and 12, which is mid and late winter. Which is basically saying that there's an 11% price increase over base price in mid and late winter. There's also an animals.xml that gives you information on the animal reproduction, the animal wool production, milk production, how much they eat over certain times of the year. And that's where I saw that sheep are basically the cheapest in, what was it, mid-autumn, which is when we bought our sheep. And if you look at cows, you'll see cows are actually the most expensive in early winter. So if you try to buy cows now, they would cost you $6,000, whereas they normally cost $5,000. And it turns out the cheapest time to buy cows, I think, is early summer or midsummer, one of those two. What's the price right now on silage bales? Should be around $910. I sold a silage bale in late autumn over on Serenity Valley, and it was like $900 and some. Can't really look at the price index at the moment. Get on up in there. So we're just going to cut logs until 6 o'clock, and then we'll close out. We're going to make our way down to the main road and take out the trees down there a little bit over the next game day or so. It's 6:05. We're going to cut this log and then call it done. Maybe we won't cut that log. Let's do something. Where is this? Oh, the truck's up there. So Mark's curious what a bale of silage is going to go for today. So let's go down here and sell one bale, just to see what we get for it. Oh, that's nice. No, bales are never in the price list. And with seasons, it's all zeroed out for loose. This is just silage at the biogas plant. So before we do that, let me look real fast at something. So we are in transition 10, early winter. All right. So the price factor for silage bales in early winter is 1.08, or 8% above normal. I think normal is $980 in hard mode. So this silage bale should bring us $159, $158, somewhere around there. So let's see what we get. Or $1,058. So since we lost all of our stinking hay, we're going to have to sell 8 silage bales to buy 8 hay bales. That's awful. Let's see what we get. $1,058 dineros, as anticipated. So mid and late winter, we should get $1,087 per bale. 187 times 312 bales. We should make $339,000 off of our silage bales. Come game day 4, 5, or 6. It's not huge on hard. Now on normal, it's not bad. Normal's like $1,400, $1,700 a silage bale. So add, 11% to that. Oh, looky. The grass we planted is sprouted. The grass we planted is excellent. Party time, Wayne's World. So these fields will be on the same par as all of our other grass fields once the grass starts to grow again. So you have to take, you would have to take 1,089 divided by 4,000, and that's what your loose silage price would have to be. It would have to be greater than that to make loose silage worth it. But the rules explicitly prohibit the sale of loose silage. So we can't do silage and sell it loose. The only way we can sell silage is to sell it in bales. Alright. Let's clean up after our sheep and then we'll close out. It's winter time, it's almost 8 o'clock and it's still dark. Alright, Ed, remember we left the forks over here before I go lose them. Oh, that's interesting. The textures changed to hay. because it's winter time. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be streaming tomorrow, probably around 9:30. And hope to see you then. So let's go ahead and save on out. And quit. But of course, the advantage of silage bales is the price does not drop. So we can sell 300 silage bales all at once and get the same price every time. Whereas with loose silage, you've got to basically do some funny stuff in order to keep the price. So thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, happy farming.